Some issues dealing with the wider wheels and beefier tires that I put on the FRS. Let's talk about it.
That thing's tight.
It's tight.
Got the back right there, man. That thing's rubber. Check out my fender. This is pretty much the issue right now. Is the car's too low, and it's been like already a week just trying to tweak the suspension. The coilover is readjusting, adjusting. It's a lot of work. Now it's still too low. I got to raise it back up and adjust the coilovers just like I did for a whole day. Because it's trial and error. When you change the wheels, when you put bigger wheels, put bigger tires, you really don't know how it's going to sit or how low it's going to sit until you put it on, and you have to adjust and readjust. That's really the only way to do it. I had it too low, and even the alignment shop wouldn't even take it in. They said that I needed to raise it up. So
Once you put it,
once I go up, put that.
put that behind that. Yeah.
Put it behind. Well, you gotta let me know first if it goes up.
You gonna back up into it?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll let you know.
Both sides. Sure, I don't hit the car.
Hey!
So once I finally got the car lifted up, I was able to start removing the wheels, but I had to be really careful because I didn't want to scratch the TEs. So I took extra care, prior to removing the wheels, real nice and slow. And what I really needed to do is to adjust the coilovers because it's low, but as you could tell, there's still a gap. I don't really like my car slammed per se, but because I have meatier tires and wider wheels, it was hitting the fender. So that's really what I meant about being too low. So I had to readjust the coilovers to make sure that it's a little bit higher. Not so much because I wanted to, but because the alignment shop didn't want to do my car. They said it was too low. It's really about adjusting these coilovers and lifting up the car. That's really what you need to do if you think that the car is too low. So I had to do this about 2 days now. I had to keep doing this, and still it's really about trial and error with these things. You just gotta keep playing with it. So after slowly putting back the left wheel and just tightening it up a little bit, not too tight, I went ahead and started doing the right side as well. And it's the same thing. I had to be really careful when I was removing the TEs because I didn't want to scratch the wheels, right? So a lot of care was taken right here. But as you can see, my tires are really meaty. These are Toyo Proxes, and they're 245 40s. So they're really meaty tires. They're a lot meatier than what a lot of FRS owners would get for their wheels. And so that's why it was hitting the fender, because the tires were too meaty, and I had to raise it back up so that I could get the car aligned, And of course, there are rubbing issues as well. And so that's why I had to readjust the coilovers. So once I was done, Doing the fronts, I just slowly lowered it again. As you can see, I used a cinder block. I should have used something better. But, you know, again, because the car is too low, I couldn't just bring the car all the way down. So now I started working on the rear wheels, and I pretty much have to do the same thing. I have to readjust the coilovers and raise it up a little bit just to make sure that there's no rubbing. Because my fenders aren't rolled yet, you know, and there's a lot of rubbing involved. So I just had to raise it back up. And again, this is, it's kind of become an issue for me to adjust the coilovers because I had to do it not just more than once or twice, but more than 5 times or so. And so, yeah, it's gotten really tiring for me.
So coming across another challenge here, another problem, if you will. This piece, I took it out. It was rubbing the back of the wheel because the wheel's so wide. But I got to put it back on because I didn't realize that it's supposed to protect the parking brakes. So now I got to figure out how to put it back on. It doesn't quite just fit snug. So it takes a little bit of work just to put this thing in.
So another issue I was dealing with because the wheels were so wide was that the brake lines and the brake line clip right here was close to hitting the wheels, and so I had to remove that clip. Then I realized that I wanted to put it back on because it was actually holding the brake lines in place. What I did temporarily was I put a zip tie to kind of move the wires away from the wheel, but that was just a temporary fix, right? What I really wanted to do was put back the clip right here, which holds the brake lines in place, but just readjust it, you know, and just move the metal a little bit further out so that it won't rub the wheels.
Again, when putting really wide tires, wide wheels that don't quite fit, you have to adjust these parking brake separators or something, because they do rub the back of the wheel if it's too wide. All you have to do is, this used to come out a little bit further out. You have to find a way to push it in. You can't use your hands to do it, you have to use a clamp.
Well, reinstalling this clip was actually a little tricky, again, because I just needed to make sure that there was enough gap between the wheel and the clip. So once I put it on, well, you know, it's not that hard, just reinstalling it. But you see, again, there's the zip tie that I used temporarily to kind of move the brake line away from the wheel. But now I'm putting back the clip. What I did was played with that clip a little bit to readjust the metal so that it's not sticking out as much, and it'll go further in so that there'll be a gap between, again, the wheel, the wider wheel and the clip, so that it won't be rubbing this thing. It's pretty close. I'll show you, you know, in a little bit. It was pretty close. When you're dealing with a wider wheel, it's you just got to make sure it's not rubbing that clip. So as here you can see, it's really hard to look right here, but if you look up close, you could kind of see that it's not rubbing anymore, but it's, you know, it's a close call right there, right? So you just kind of keep it out. So now you don't have to worry about any rubbing with your wider wheel and that clip that holds your brake lines.
No more rubbing. See, there's a gap between wheel and brake separator. There it is.
It's tight.
Got the back right there, man. That thing's rubbing. Check out my fender. rubbing somehow, so I gotta figure it out. You know, I've been playing with this thing, lifting it up and down, and it's still hitting. I don't know if I still have to lift the coilovers or what, but it's just how it goes. We'll see.
So after that test drive, I realized that there's still a lot of rubbing with my fenders, so I had no other choice but to actually get the fenders rolled. As you can see right here, I had to hire a professional to do it right because I didn't want to do it myself. I used to do it back in the days, but you know, with the baseball bat and all that, but I didn't want to mess around with the FRS. I just wanted to make sure that someone had the tools to do it right here and get that fender rolling properly. Because as you can see here, he had to take some of the metal out just because it was kind of sticking out. You know, some issues that needed to be dealt with. In the back, it was kind of easier, the rolling, I noticed, but in the front, again, some of the plastic had to be removed. It's a little bit tricky, you know, doing the fender rolling in the front.
You want to change and you put it in something here.
Because right now I replaced the control arm and the toe arm, so the adjustment no good, right?
Right now I need to check first what is right now.
So you think you could do -1 all around, front and back? Is that too much? Yeah. Just a little negative is good. I don't want to use up my tire, you know. But
So, as you can see, I finally got my car aligned after spending numerous times raising the car, adjusting the coilovers, and then finally getting the fenders rolled. You see my guy right here is good when it comes to doing the alignment, and this shop actually specializes in lowered cars. And my car is not really slammed because that's not really my style. I just needed to make sure I got a little bit of negative camber so that the beefier tires that I have would not really rub the fenders. And my main concern was really that if I hit like potholes and, you know, stuff like that, that it's not going to damage the fenders, you know, because of those 245 40s that I have on, right? So that's really what the negative camber is all about for the FRS.
1.1.
I think when I put it down, you move it. Okay, right now it's
Yeah. 1.1. So I'm gonna see if I raise this car high enough so that I can drive it. All trial and error, you know. This is like maybe the 20th time I try to adjust this coilover. We'll see if it's still too low. I think this car is still too low. The back tire is still rubbing. I don't know why. I guess because the tire is too wide. I'll try to readjust again.
So that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you guys got something out of it. Till next time, drive safe and keep on rolling.